The 11th EAC Military Games and Culture event of 2017 took place in Bujumbura, the capital city of Burundi, from the 26th of August to the 5th of September 2017. Defense forces from 4 countries participated in these games: Burundi, the host country, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. South Sudan was represented by the Defense Liaison Officer of the EAC Secretariat. The East African Community Military Games and Culture event is conducted annually on a rational basis in accordance with Article 11 of the Protocol on Cooperation in Defense Affairs. The protocol was signed in 1998 and revised in 2001. These activities include, among others, joint operations, technical assistance, visit and exchange of information, cultural exchange, and sports competition to enhance a spirit of comradeship between the armed forces and the community. The Military Games and Culture event started in 2005 when the first edition was held in Kampala, Uganda. Other editions of the game have been held in Nairobi, Kenya in 2006, in Zanzibar, Tanzania in 2007, in Kampala, Uganda in June 2008, in Kigali, Rwanda in 2009, in Bujumbura, Burundi in 2011, in Nairobi, Kenya in 2013, in Zanzibar, Tanzania in 2014, in Kampala, Uganda in 2015, in Kigali, Rwanda in 2016, and again this one in Bujumbura, Burundi in 2017. The primary objective of the military sports and culture event is not competition, but to contribute to confidence building and for the individual soldiers to appreciate their diverse cultures. The opening ceremony of the 11th EAC Military Games and Culture Events 2017 was held at Prince Louis Rwagasore Stadium and other several sports facilities within Bujumbura City, where high personalities and the civilian population attended.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are very pleased to welcome His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Burundi. He is already with us.
The President and Commander-in-Chief of the National Defense Forces of the Republic of Burundi, His Excellency Pierre Nkurunziza, officially launched the Games on the 27th of August 2017. The opening ceremonies began with the military march past.
We see the first contingent is the contingent of Burundi. During the years when before we integrate in the partner states, before we joined the other partner states, the way of marching was not like this one. But now we see you cannot distinguish them from other EAC partner states who have found the same way of marching for a long time. So we congratulate our leaders, we congratulate all stakeholders who have all the community towards full integration. Tanzania, and the last but not least, the contingent from the Republic of Uganda. While the parade is marching on, we would like to touch of entertainment to prepare themselves because that's a activity that will come.
Indeed, several speeches were made, beginning with the chair of the organizing committee, Brigadier Marius Ngendabanga. He was followed by the Chief Defense Force of Burundi, Lieutenant General Prime Niyongabo.
The EAC Military Games and Cultural Event is organized within the EAC framework for cooperation in defense in accordance with the Article 125 of the Treaty and Article 2 of the Protocol on Cooperation in Defense Affairs, which included, among others, military training, joint operations, technical cooperation, visits, and exchange of information. Games and cultural event is intended to build confidence and esprit de corps among the EAC Armed Forces. The first edition of this kind of event took place in 2005 and was hosted by Uganda People's Defense Forces in Kampala, in the Republic of Uganda, where troops from Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda participated in different disciplines. This event is normally conducted within the EAC partner states through rotation basis, and it's from this sense that the event has been scheduled to be conducted here in Burundi. In this year's edition, the event will be focusing on 5 disciplines which have been approved by the Secretary Council on Cooperation in Defense Affairs, which took place in Arusha, Tanzania on 26th May 2017, namely cross-country, men and women, football, men, netball, women, basketball, men, and volleyball, women. The event will involve approximately 500 troops representing various services of the armed forces of the EAC partner states. The core objectives of this event are to enhance cooperation and promote a spirit of brotherhood, friendship, raise performance standards of our armed forces, enhance solidarity and promote mutual cooperation among EAC partner states armed forces in order to widen and deepen integration, to contribute in building confidence among the EAC armed forces under the EAC Protocol on Cooperation in Defense Affairs. The game also encourage military physical education, sports, and interaction of diversity multicultural within the region. It's also aimed to promoting activity. It's also aimed at promoting physical activity, contribute towards harmonious development in sports and culture in the region, and the regional and international effort for universal peace. Peace and security are the prerequisites for social and economic development, which are the backbone of the EAC existence. With the involving security challenges worldwide, there is a need to come together and build a strong unionship among our armed forces. Terrorism, piracy, proliferation of small arms, drugs trafficking, human trafficking, insurgents, and transborder crimes, among others, are the most evolving security concerns which cannot be fought by a single state. Peoples of the East African community should follow the example of the armed forces and come together for the interest of the security and development of our region.
This is what the EAC Secretary General, Ambassador Liberan Mfumukeko, had to say at the official opening.
Since 2005, we have held 10 editions of the EAC Military Games and Cultural Event, and today we are gathered to witness the official opening of the 11th edition, being hosted for another time by the Republic of Burundi. We at the EAC Secretariat consider this to be a significant achievement and indicator of the good progress we are making in pushing the integration agenda forward. At this juncture, allow me, Your Excellency, to extend my deep appreciation and gratitude to our chiefs of the EAC partner states defense forces for their dedication and for the big strides made towards the realization of the aspirations of the Protocol on Cooperation in Defense Matters, and specifically for the elaborate program they have put in place towards confidence building and solidarity of EAC defense forces. Your Excellency, in a special way, I would like to commend and welcome the Republic of South Sudan for joining us to participate in this event for the first time since their admission into the community. Your Excellency, in this year's edition, more than 500 men and women in uniform from the EAC partner states armed forces will be participating in the following sporting disciplines: football for men, basketball for men, netball for women, volleyball for women, cross country for women and men. These military sports, men and women, will be expected to exhibit the good sportsmanship during these games and the cultural activities which are aimed at contributing to strengthening the friendship and unity of purpose among our armed forces. Your Excellency, the EAC Games and cultural activities have great significance beyond building confidence among the armed forces of EAC partner states. It bears a great symbolic significance, having regard to the broader goals and vision of a competitive, prosperous, and united East Africa. The games and cultural events are always held in public stadiums with a purpose. When our common citizens watch these events and perceive that their armed forces are working together and engage in friendly activities that project mutual trust and confidence, they inevitably garner higher levels of confidence in the East African Community integration agenda at both economic and political dimensions. the presence of the chiefs of the defense forces, the service commanders, general officers, defense liaison officers, and members of the armed forces contingents of the EAC partner states, as well as the ordinary citizens in this stadium today, demonstrates that the vision of our founding fathers of one people, one destiny can and will be achieved.
These games are taking place at a time when Burundi is celebrating 10 years since joining the East African community. We have gained and contributed a lot ever since we joined. In his statement, President Pierre Nkurunziza said that it was a great honor for Burundi to host the 11th EAC Military Games and Cultural Event of 2017.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to wish all the delegations, on behalf of the people of Burundi, the government of Burundi, Burundian Army, and in my own name, a great welcome of brotherly love and friendship, and wish you a pleasant and enjoyable stay during all this time you will be here. Feel at home. Your home, our home is your home. We are one people with one destiny. Kaze muri sanze, karibuni sana, tubasanyu kide, alahawa salam. It's a great honor for Bujumbura and Burundi as a whole to host this 11th East African Community Military Games and Cultural Event 2017. This is a clear indication that peace and security reign on the national territory, contrary to what bad intentioned media and the enemies of Burundi spread around the globe. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, those games are taking place at a time when Burundi is celebrating the 10 years since joining the East African community. We have gained and contributed a lot even since we joined. Full integration in all sectors is effectively taking shape, and this includes the defense and the security forces. Culturally, we pride ourselves for owning drums that have been made by UNESCO, part of the global heritage, and Burundi has just scoped the first place worldwide in the recent cultural and tourist exhibition held in Russia. I have no doubts that our military are in a position to emulate what their civilian counterparts have been able to achieve recently. Our efforts in Somalia, in the Central African Republic, and within the Great Lakes region are examples of our ongoing collective efforts in search of peace in our region. At this point in time, allow me to extend my deep appreciation and gratitude to our chiefs of the East African Community Partner States Defense Forces for their constant and consistent dedication. Such dedication and effort will definitely facilitate the fast tracking and the handling of our common problems of security, such as terrorist, poaching, and the cattle rustling, which can pose a threat to our regional stability. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, while sport is unifying and bringing peoples together, let us compete, but you should bear in mind that your job as a soldier is not the easiest. While our national armies do all they can to defend their borders and the region as a whole, you must constantly remember that the threat of terrorism is at an all-time high. We constantly need collective efforts and strategies to fight it. These efforts should be a collective concern, and I wish to appeal to all members of the East African community to refrain from provoking one another or helping and abetting individuals or groups likely to disrupt peace and security in any other member state. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my hope that by the time those games come to an end, you will have learned more realities about Burundi, and I am sure it will not be a big task, especially that the languages spoken within the East African community are not very dissimilar. So go on, have fun, enjoy yourselves, and take full advantage of any spare time to visit our beautiful capital city built on the shores of Tanganyika, Lake Tanganyika, and if you can, visit some landmark sites and the hills outside the capital, Bujumbura. And when you go back to your respective countries, spread the word. Tell your compatriots about your experience in Burundi. I wish to take this opportunity to reiterate once again the commitment of the Republic of Burundi to the integration process and full cooperation within all members of the East African community, and I wish once again all the participants a wonderful stay. As it has been done by different speakers here, I would like to recognize the participation of ministers of defense from East African community partner states, and Saitoti Torome of Defense of Kenya. Finally, I would like to insist on the fact that stability remains the most critical ingredient to the future development and the prosperity of our community. Let's therefore stand, guard, and ensure that peace which now overall reigns through the nations of the East African community is safeguarded. With these remarks, I now wish to declare the 11th edition of the East African Community Military Games and Cultural Event 2017 officially opened here in the capital city of Burundi.
Ruremeshangalo.com. Chami chami moja, lengo moja.
The President and Commander-in-Chief of the National Defense Force of the Republic of Burundi, His Excellency Pierre Nkurunziza, kicked off the opening football match between Burundi Defense Forces football team, Muzinga, and Kenya Defense Forces team, Ulinzi Stars. Kenya beat Burundi 1-0. The goal was scored by Enoch Ochieng. In women's volleyball, Kenya versus Burundi, Kenya won 3 sets to 0. On the same day, Burundi Defense Forces took on their counterpart, the Ugandan People's Defense Forces in basketball, in which Uganda scored 66 while Burundi 63. In women's netball, Kenya Defense Forces met with Burundi Defense Forces and Kenya won 78 goals to 12. In men's football, Ugandan People's Defense Forces tussled it out with Tanzania People's Defense Forces, Ngome, in a 1-1 draw match. The goals were scored by Abraham Musa from Tanzania at 17 minutes of the game and Rule Jimmy from Uganda at 26 minutes of the football match. In women's netball, Uganda played Tanzania and had a marginal loss of 30-31. In men's basketball, Tanzania versus Kenya, Tanzania won 68 goals to 58.
Kwa ujumla michezo ni mizuri, ina changamoto sana, timu zote zimejiandaa, ila tu ni mbinu tofauti ndio tunazidiana. Na kwa umeshinda unajisikiaje? Najisikia furaha sana kwa sababu nimeshinda. Yaani hapa naiwakilisha Tanzania ambayo kauli mbiu ni hapa kazi tu. Thank you.
No, we did not expect it because in the previous occasions Tanzania is a team we normally beat, but today they've surprised us. But we're going to go back to the drawing board and we're going to come back strong in the next.
We were received very well by our host, the Republic of Burundi. They have put excellent facilities at our disposal, and the competitions have been going on very well. I think the refereeing also and the umpiring has also been good. There is no cause for alarm. These games have brought us very close together as the military. We now respect more one another than we had ever been. We are closer than we have ever been before. There is mutual respect, there is cooperation, and this is in keeping with the objectives for starting this event, to bring the militaries of East Africa closer in defense cooperation.
I'm Brigadier Daniel Kimutai Piapan. The Chief deemed me sure the Kenya Defence Forces, that is basically I'm the head of the delegation from Kenya, whom we came as a team with a team of 5. That is the volleyball, football, basketball, netball, and cross country. And all of them we have settled down. We were well received by the Burundian Defence Forces, and we have settled down. We have started the training, and currently we have participated. We have really competed in three events against Burundi. We are now doing the 4th one, and I think we are doing very well so far.
Well, I can see that the preparations are well, accommodation, transport, and really everything is in order. And as we've said, we've opened the game on 26th. And from there now the ball is rolling. But what I can see this year, there is a very big improvement because I can see those teams who were a little bit down last year, this year they are doing well. And the atmosphere really, it's good.
In women's netball, Tanzania versus Burundi, Tanzania won 94 goals to 18. In men's basketball, Burundi versus Kenya, Burundi won 61 goals to 46. In women's volleyball, Kenya versus Uganda, Uganda won 3-0. In men's football, Tanzania versus Burundi, it was a 2-1 to Tanzania. The goals were scored by Samuel Kamunu and Damas Makwaya from Tanzania and Sous-Lieutenant Janvier Bigirimana from Burundi. In men's football, Kenya versus Uganda, Kenya won 1 goal normally and Uganda won 1 goal on penalty. The goal markers were Omar Mbongi from Kenya at 52 minutes of the game and Private Nakenyalire Robert. In women's volleyball, Tanzania versus Burundi, Tanzania won 3-0. In men's basketball, Tanzania versus Uganda, Tanzania won 63 goals to 56. In women's netball, Kenya versus Uganda, Kenya won 31 goals to 27.
My names are Koplo Bridget Nazala from Kenya. I'm the captain of the team. We were really prepared for this match. Though being Uganda is the toughest team in East Africa because netball is played in Uganda, not the other countries. But we prepared ourselves well from January until now. Compared to other matches, Tanzania is also tough, but we have to tackle them.
This day was marked by a cultural visit. The EAC contingent visited 3 places, namely Sagaresha Beach, Blue Bay Beach, and Royal Beach.
I would like to invite you to relax here, take some pictures, but we will move again. We will continue our journey towards another site. Okay?
Dans notre capitale, bon accueil, souris, ambiance confort vous serviront. Il est beau, il est beau.
The 11th EAC Military Games and Cultural Events of 2017 entered its 7th day, with athletes from Burundi, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda competing in a 10-kilometer cross-country race for both women and men. In the men's race, Tanzania's Emmanuel Giniki Gisamoda was the first to touch the finish line, followed by Uganda's Chepkorom Ezekiel and Kenya's Hilary Gering. Tanzania was the best team in the male category, followed by Kenya. Uganda came third and Burundi finished fourth in general rankings. In the women's race, Kenya's Mercy Njoroge won the gold medal, followed by Uganda's Cheptegei Rebecca who got the silver medal, and Tanzania's Jacqueline Juma Sakilu with the bronze medal. In the overall performance and ranking in the women's race, Kenya took the first position, Tanzania second, Uganda third, and Burundi fourth. The winners expressed their joy after receiving the medals.
Tumeongea kama team, coach akatusaidia na speed work, long run, alafu ndio ikaweza kunisaidia, ndio maana nimeweza kukimbia kwa crowd kama hii na nikaweza kuepuka mshindi.
In women's netball, Uganda versus Burundi, Uganda won 95 goals to 24. In men's basketball, Tanzania versus Burundi, Tanzania won 72 goals to 69. In women's volleyball, Kenya versus Tanzania, Kenya won 3 sets to 1. In men's football, Kenya versus Tanzania, Kenya won by 1-0. The goal was scored by Boniface Onyango at 16 minutes of the game. In women's volleyball, Uganda versus Burundi, Uganda won 3 sets to 1. After the last game, the best players were awarded with trophies and medals. Kenya took the first position in volleyball, the second was Tanzania, and Uganda came third. The best setter was Nyerangugisha from Uganda. The best blocker was Champion Zeimana from Burundi. The best server was Doreen Kobedo from Tanzania. The best attacker was Evelyn Albert from Tanzania. The most valuable player was Edna Rotich from Kenya. Even though Burundi came in last position, Burundians volleyball players were proud of their teammate who got the Best Blocker award. The team is requesting for organizers to invest in more training for the next edition, for it was their first time to participate in such games. In men's basketball, Kenya versus Uganda, Kenya won 60 goals to 52. After the last game, the best players were awarded trophies and medals. Tanzania came first in basketball, Burundi was the second, and Uganda third. The best scorer was Eric Mutoro from Kenya.
Thank you very much, sir.
The most valuable player was Musa Marugi from Tanzania.
Thank you very much, sir. Now,
the best defender was Lumanyika Ivan from Uganda. In women's netball, Kenya versus Tanzania, Kenya won 36 to 32. After the last game, the best players were awarded with trophies and medals. Kenya got the first position in netball games while Uganda took the second place, followed by Tanzania. The best goal shooter was Florence Ndombi from Kenya. The best defender was Agio Lilian from Tanzania. The best setter was Buchumi Pasi from Burundi. The best player was Faraja from Tanzania.
Yani yule ambaye amepata yani ni kitu muhimu, yani naona itakuwa ni yani mfano kwa yule yote ambaye anahitaji kuingia mchezoni hii, wala anahitaji kuwepo katika timu ya taifa ya serikali. Yani kwa yule ambaye amepewa, naona inaweza kuwa mfano hata kwa yule yoyote yule ambaye anahitaji kucheza michezo hii. Na sisi yani wachezaji wa timu ya serikali tunafurahi sana kama tumeona kwamba yani mmoja wetu amepata, yani amepewa kikombe kile kwa sababu ameonyesha kwamba na yeye ana uwezo. Si kusema kwamba hatuwezi, tuna uwezo ila tumeshindwa kwa sababu kuna kuzidiana.
Burundians were proud to receive their brothers and sisters from the EAC partner states. For them, this shows that Burundi has really integrated the East African community. The heads of delegations and chief of missions appreciated and commended the organization of the 11th EAC Military Games and Cultural Event of 2017 and the cordial hospitality accorded to them by residents of Bujumbura City.
Where you recall that this is the 11th event. I have had the opportunity to watch about 5 others or so. I think the standards so far attained are very high in every sports discipline, and we are happy that we are going that way. Over the years, since 2011, we have also been improving as a region on the organization of this event. So I would say this event this time around is better organized than it was in 2011, because we have come together, put all our heads together as a planning committee for the region, and what we are seeing now is a result of that big effort. We would need more training for all the teams, more training, I think, for all the referees, so that we can do our thing at the highest levels possible.
The purpose of this game, that is the military games and cultural event, is that one people, one destiny. And therefore, when you look at from one perspective, the bigger picture is to have one East Africa community, and therefore creating the market for our own economy, improvement of our economy, integration of our military, and integrating in various fields, including the political, and therefore widening our relationship among the member states. So having such a event taking place in one of the countries within the East Africa community is a way forward of showing that we are heading the right direction of integrating and therefore creating the market. And that is the theme which we had a bit earlier mentioned, that one people, one destiny. We have been actually having some, sharing some training among ourselves. But when we further this one now with games like this one, it tends to cement our relationship and it deepen and create the relationship to become more and more stronger. The bonding is there. Definitely, I'm satisfied because you see now we are in the so-called the current globalization, whereby we have to build blocks in regions. And therefore, I being here as part of a member of East Africa community is a way of also building our own block within the eastern part of Africa.
Yeah, that is what I believe, and that is our goal. And we usually tell our soldiers to cooperate. And you can see even this time we have put teams together. For example, basketball together, football, netball together, all partner states in one area of accommodation. So they eat together, they talk together, and things really are in a very good shape. These games are very important, and the goal should be maintained. But really, I call upon the local people here to participate, rather than we military meeting ourselves. You really want to talk and want to share views with people, interact with them. I think that will be nice. What I want to add is that these games are played in a rotational basis. So every partner state has time to organize these games, and we usually playing in an annual basis, but right now we are going to play after a year. So that means we are going to play in 2019. So this is another factor which will, it will take, the players will miss really. They'll miss it, but because it is an agreement, so we don't have to deny it. We have to abide in it. But really what I can say, we will really miss the games for a year. And this year, volleyball women's, it was taken on board so that to balance the gender. So it is a very good move, and I hope in the future other games also will be taken on board.
The closing ceremony started by the EAC Contingent Parade March. The first Vice President of the Republic of Burundi, His Excellency Gaston Sindimo, on behalf of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the National Defense Forces of the Republic of Burundi, was the chief guest at the call-off ceremony. Present at the occasion were also Uganda's Minister of State for Defense and Veterans Affairs, Honorable Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Bright Gramirama, Burundi's Minister in the Office of the President responsible for the EAC affairs, Honorable Isabel Ndahayo, and military attachés for the EAC partner states and others. The Chief of Defense Forces for Tanzania was represented by Major General Elias Nicanor Athanase, Chief of Reserve Forces. Uganda was represented by the Deputy Chief of Defense Forces, Lieutenant General Wilson Bandi, and Kenya Defense Forces by the Air Force Commander Major General Samuel Twitter. The closing football match between Burundi and Uganda was kicked off by the guest of honor, marked the end of the EAC Military Games and Cultural Event of 2017, where Uganda beat Burundi 3-0. The goal scorers were Sergeant Wakaza Godfrey, Private Malingumu Julius, and Private Nakenarire Robert. After the football match, the second runners, first runners, and winners from both football, basketball, volleyball, netball, and cross-country were awarded medals and trophies. For men's football, the second runners-up was Tanzania. The first runners-up was Uganda. The winner was Kenya. The best goalkeeper was Corporal James Saruni. The best scorer was Robert Nakenarire from Uganda. The best player was Lieutenant Kevin Yonzima from Burundi. The best defender was Damas Makwaya from Tanzania. For women's volleyball, the second runners-up was Uganda. The first runners-up was Tanzania. The winner was Kenya. For men's basketball, the second runners-up was Uganda. The first runners-up Burundi. The winner Tanzania. For women's netball, the second runners-up Tanzania. The first runners-up Uganda. The winner Kenya. For men's cross-country, the second runners-up Uganda. The first runners-up Tanzania. The winner was Kenya. For women's cross-country, the second runners-up Uganda. The first runners-up Kenya. The winner was Tanzania. Several statements were made at the closing ceremony, including the chairman of the organizing committee, Brigadier Marius Ngendabanga, the Burundi Chief of Defense Force, Lieutenant General Prime Niyongabo, who appealed the EAC partner states to always work together for the interest of the citizens and military cooperation through joint activities as required by Article 2 of the EAC Protocol. The EAC Deputy Secretary General also made a statement on behalf of the Secretary General and commended the Republic of Burundi, the entire leadership, the Ministry of Defense and Veterans Affairs, the Burundi National Defense Forces for the superb organization and facilitation of the event. The EAC official urged all the East African citizens, international partners, and visitors to take advantage of the prevailing peaceful and secure environment in Burundi to visit or invest in the country. The Minister of Defense and Veterans Affairs of Burundi, Mr. Emmanuel Nhamvukiye, in his part, noted that through sports, soldiers have got the opportunity to interact with fellow comrades and also keep fit as forces in the EAC. The first Vice President of the Republic of Burundi, His Excellency Gaston Sindimo, congratulated all players, commending organizers for the efforts towards the success of the gala. While each individual in each of the teams fought hard to score that extra goal and to run the fastest race to raise the national flags, collectively our national flags constitute a single winning flag, the flag of the East African community, that symbolize a collective unity of the people of East Africa. He also hailed the leaders of the EAC partner states for the constant support and commitment to the EAC military games, describing the participation of the troops in sports as an energy for friendship, solidarity, cooperation, and comradeship that runs the community as people of one destiny.
Kwa kuwa kwenu hapa ni shukurani kwa wananchi wa Burundi, sababu mko hapa Burundi. Yale yote mmezungumzwa, mmeambiwa, mmeyaona kwa macho. Kama mko hapa, yani mnakuwa mabalozi wa Burundi kwa nchi zenu. Na shukrani sana za dhati kuona mko katika nchi yetu. Maalifu wanazungumza mengi, wanasema mengi, wanazungumza Burundi hakuna amani. wamoja wanaomba vikosi vya kuja kurudisha amani. Mna wiki mbili hapa, mliona kama amani ni shwari katika nchi yetu, na tunawatuma nyinyi kama mawakilishi wetu, mmejionea na macho yenu peke yenu, kazungumze ale mmeona. Burundi yote ni shwari. Kwa niaba wa rais wa nchi, tumetaka kupongeza jeshi, wamebuka vikombe vingi, na tumeona hapa nchi ya Kenya, nchi ya Tanzania, nchi ya Uganda wamepeleka vikombe zaidi nchi ya Burundi. Tuwapigie makofi. Ni kumaanisha nini? Ni kumaanisha kama jeshi la Burundi liko tayari kwa mchezo, na sio kubali kushindwa si mchezaji. Mumecheza kwa amani, mmekaa kwa amani. Tudumishe jumuiya yetu kwa amani. Pako wanataka kulinda jumuiya yetu kushinda sisi wenye jumuiya. Na ndio tunaomba vikosi vilipo hapa, tunapendelea vikosi vije hapa Burundi vicheze mpira ili na sisi kesho tupate vikombe kama vile. Wanazungumza mengi kama nimesema, Deputy Secretary General, na uko hapa, basi tulinde jumuiya yetu. Tulinde jumuiya yetu kwa makini, sababu mabebero ni wengi. Wanataka kuturudisha katika hali tulizokuwa hapo awali. Na jeshi la Burundi liko tayari kulinda Burundi na kulinda taifa letu na kulinda jumuiya yetu ya Afrika ya Mashariki.
The last part of the closing ceremony was handing over of the EAC flag to the next partner state to host the next edition of the EAC Games and Cultural event. The Burundi's Chief of Defense Force, Lieutenant General Pim Nyongabo, handed over the EAC flag to the Kenya Defense Force represented by the Air Force Commander, Major General Samuel Twitter, the host for the 12th EAC Military Games and Culture Event 2019. Around 500 EAC contingents participated in the 11th EAC Military Games and Cultural Event of 2017, held in Bujumbura, the capital city of Burundi, with the theme One People, One Destiny through EAC Military Games and Cultural Events.